Hello everyone, I'm making this video because I think there is a discussion that needs to take place. You will see that we advertised on behalf of the Liberty Horse Association here in Marrakesh and the JRC horse show people who do shows for public consumption, but they work with Liberty in a Liberty way. In no way are they cruel. Now, they are coming here this weekend to showcase, and they're doing a fundraiser for us. And I have to tell you that both these organisations have been so supportive of us during the pandemic in terms of supporting what we do without question. And in many ways, we have learnt a great deal from Catherine and Khalil, who run the KRC Horse Show organisation, by understanding a little more about horses. Remember, we took horses for the first time during the pandemic when they were left to starve, they were not fed, many were abandoned, and now we have many of them here. Now, I've had two messages within the last 24 hours, both in good faith, and I respect the people hugely. The first person actually asked if it wasn't cruel to use horses for human benefit, and was surprised because she thought us guys would be against it, and she even donates to us. And the second one that I got this morning was they are surprised that we supported horse riding. So how do I deal with this, and how do I start the discussion? I'm going to do it this way. Firstly, the background and the history in Morocco. Morocco is a country that is proud of its relationship with horses. You will see that from the king down. And you will have heard about the fantasias that take place. And the fantasias are a public representation of what has kept Morocco free. During the French occupation, the reality is that the French never got beyond where we live now into the mountains, because the war horses, and I'm talking about true war horses with fearsome warriors riding them, kept the French at bay. And that underpins, those are what the Fantasia horses are. It's keeping the tradition going, where they are showcased. And they're ridden at rifle point to walk, trot, gallop and stop on a rifle point. Now, I'm not a huge fan of the Fantasias. I understand and respect the culture. And it must be said that Ayoub, who you will all know of here at the Refuge, who is a fine horseman, used to ride in the Fantasias. He doesn't anymore. He does Liberty work with our horses. And that brings me on to, well, what has been the role of horses in Morocco? It has been very much the war horses. They have been used for tourism, both by pulling calèches, which I have to say we are totally opposed to, because the traffic in Morocco is now far too heavy, far too intense, and it just isn't safe for the horses. But at the same time, we have to respect the old families who've had calèche horses for many years and support them in the best way we can. Horses who are not so valuable have been used to pull carts, sometimes under very cruel conditions. And we hope that one day we will see a ban on using equines in the cities for pulling carts. Of course, the calèche horses are used in tourism, and there is horse riding in Morocco. First of all, let me deal with the horse riding, because somebody asked, they thought we were against horse riding. We are, when there is cruelty involved. The horses we have saved here at Djadjer are in beautiful condition, and those that are still sick are doing well, and they will be in beautiful condition. and the 2 mares that we took from Les Deux Gazelles, who had been used for horse riding down in the south of Morocco, are fantastic horses, and the boys here do ride them out very gently, bareback and without bits, because they need that exercise. I've heard, and I'm not saying who, I'm not mentioning names, but I have had complaints about a riding school who have horses for tourists, and they're all skinny and they're starving. Of course we don't condone that. And we don't operate horse riding from here, and we don't make money out of horse riding. But then ask yourselves, what is going to happen to the horses in Morocco? I suppose in a wonderful ideal world, all horses would run free in herds, not bothered with humans at all. But the reality is that over the centuries, horses and humans have become companions in many ways. Horse riding, horse racing, working with horses, fantasias, the list goes on and on. And this is what I've learnt the hard way over the last 2 years. We rescued horses close to starvation. Some nearly died at our gate when they were brought in. We rescued 2 Kalesh horses in particular. We did have other Kalesh horses, but these 2 we took from Jemaa El Fina. And we took them when I thought, I just can't do this. But Si Mohammed, who was with me, said, "Madame, if you don't take these horses, they will die." And we took them. I was told by people who know far more than me, supposedly, that once you take a Kalesh horse off the streets, you can't retrain it, and old Kalesh horses are slaughtered. And what happened to our 2 very special ones is they became very strong. They were still quite young when they were fed well, and they fought with each other. It was quite scary. We had them gelded. They still fought. It was still quite scary. And we worked with them over a period of months. And now Ayoub is doing liberty work with them. So what is liberty work? Liberty work, very simply, is when Ayoub can stand beside the horse and say, "Walk." And the horse walks with him. And he stops, and the horse stops. And he walks backwards, and the horse walks backwards. He maybe kneels, and the horse kneels. Now, I then began to understand why this is so important, because horses are intelligent. Young, strong horses have to have their brains occupied, and they love doing the liberty work. They were better once they had something to do. And the 2 old girls who are 25 and are ridden out bareback love to go out. They never wear a bit, they never wear a saddle, and they are much loved. They also love being here in the big paddock with the donkeys, and they love visitors. You can't just leave horses like this in a field and say, "Get on with it." They get bored. So why are we having this event on Saturday? Firstly, because both associations, with the support of SORIC, which you can Google and find out, that's the Moroccan Horse Association, are supporting us. I would be churlish, and indeed I would be foolish, and I would not be helping the animals here if I said, "I don't agree with you riding horses for public entertainment, go away." What a fool I'd be. But if those horses were cruelly treated, I would be the first to say so, and I would be the first to do something. But these horses aren't. They're the finest horses you can see, and they work at liberty with Catherine and Khalil, and they are a joy. And we're not doing this for public entertainment. We are inviting people to come to our refuge, which isn't easy. You know, all week we've been cleaning, we've been trying to set things up. They will have lunch. We hope they will enjoy their stay with us. And I hope they will get some joy out of seeing the work that the KRC people can do with their horses. And as far as our horses are concerned, I hope they will get huge joy when they see our horses led into the arena and see how they were saved from starvation. So yes, I've had to consider my position. And I hope you understand, because I'm in the process of working it through. But I will not tolerate cruelty, and I will not tolerate cruelty on my premises. And so when I'm told they're surprised we didn't think we'd support this sort of thing, are you going to say that to some other organisations? Spanner, and I say this in a respectful way, because Spanner does splendid work over the whole world. And they work with working horses. And what they do, they treat them if they're ill, and they send them back to work. Gracious me, that's for human benefit, isn't it? We don't do that. Our horses are treated like princes and princesses, and they like to see people, they like to meet people, as I know the KRC horse show horses like to as well. Nothing's straightforward, nothing's clear, and we are working in the middle of Morocco, and I promise you, attitudes are changing. But we have to open the debate and we have to keep it going. Thank you for listening. I'm sure there will be more to say after the weekend's event.